This is your morning brief for Tuesday, May 14th. A couple of new reports out from FSA. Major snag in Momo's momentum. So if you've been following us, you know we've liked this Momo, this Chinese social media kind of play. But there's a serious problem there now, and and it's not just that it's just caught up in China, and it's a very specific problem. So I think we're going to have to let that go. But go watch the video for more details. Another one that is a different scenario here. It's actually a buying opportunity, and we're calling it buying opportunities everywhere, and specifically at Ubiquiti Networks. Just a little play on words there, being ubiquity means everywhere. So go have a look at that one. That really looks like a buy to us. The futures rebound today, so it's great, but not a big deal because we've been down 6 days in a row. So, and it wasn't news driven. It's really just overdue. People coming in to buy because it's been 6 days of down, and people gauging that it might be just time to pick up some shares, which is great. I think I would agree with that. Why today versus yesterday or the day before? Maybe because China retaliated yesterday, so both sides have kind of spoken on this, and it flushed everything out, and a good opportunity. So today's the day it seems to be rebounding, but nothing's really changed. So this will probably bounce around a little bit before until we get some sort of resolution one way or the other. Apple is involved in an antitrust suit. This is when things get really ugly for big companies. If you remember when Microsoft finally, in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were just sailing along, and then antitrust hit them, and the shares were dead money for 10 years. I don't know if that's the same case with Apple, but at least you got to consider it. So you got to think about it. So this antitrust, though, it's not as big a deal as the Microsoft one, because it's just about their Apple Play store, or is that what it's called? Apple Play? I don't have an Apple. No, it's Google Play. It's whatever. It's the Apple store, the App Store. And they're saying that it's price gouging a little bit, because the only place to buy these apps are there, and they say they're overcharging, and if they had more distribution channels, you would get these cheaper and better pricing for the apps. So and what was really strange was that some conservative judges, the one recently appointed by Trump administration, Kavanaugh, actually wrote the majority opinion from the Supreme Court. So you would have expected conservative to actually side with the company, and they actually side with consumers. So that's kind of interesting. Anyhow, okay. There's a problem in generic price fixing, and Teva has really got caught up into it. It's specifically named by 44 states, and specifically mentioning Teva. And there's other ones in there too, but or other ones that would be affected. But this one was specifically to Teva. And Teva was down 14%. That's not just China trade and all this other stuff. And this is a pretty big deal too. So, being accused of price fixing is a big deal. So we're going to step aside. We have owned this in our portfolios, expecting a rebound, and it looked like a good turnaround opportunity. But this is just too much to overcome at this point. So I don't want to fool around with it. We're going to have to move on. Okay, I don't normally do this on our morning brief because I try and save my buys and sells for specific reports and specific companies. But there's just so many that I'm going to list off a few that I think are interesting. Okay, so some buys on pullbacks. So I'm going to put them in categories too: pullbacks and basically ones that were unaffected, so there's less risk. But the first are the pullbacks, and I would say KLA Technologies, Skyworks, Applied Materials, Texas Instruments, and Ubiquiti Networks, which we mentioned earlier. So those are all tech. We got really hammered in this pullback in the market. And then unaffected recently. So I would say if you're really concerned and you're not willing to step in on this downturn at the moment, and you just want to play conservatively, I still think these are good names, and they've barely been affected. In fact, some of them are up a little bit. Black Hills, Smuckers, Enbridge, Chevron, NextEra, Kirkland Lake, Pfizer, Microsoft. Those are still great names and don't seem to be as affected by all this China trade. So there you go. Big list of names there. No specifics on them, but I thought I'd do a little bit different for our morning brief today. And that is our morning brief for Tuesday, May 14th. And we just listed off some gems, so let's go find some more.